Welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Jeanette, and I'm your host. I'm joined by Eve.
Hey.
Amanda.
Hello.
And Shelby.
Hi.
And we are going to be talking about Ginny and Georgia episodes 5 through 7. Is that correct, everybody? I get lost on what the number of the episodes are, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Lots to talk about. And Shelby, I'm probably going to have you lead us off here since you're the responsible one who took notes and watched today.
Okay, so in episode 5, we started off with Georgia on her porch. She's wrapped up in a blanket and she's drinking coffee. And she's looking at her garden and, looking outside, and there's a cute little bunny that's hopping around and it went into her garden and she just pulls out a gun and shoots it.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you guys think of that? Because it about broke my heart.
I kind of did because it was a cute little bunny, but it was very Georgia-like to do that. So I can't.
And it was destroying her plants. I mean, so like I get, it makes me upset. I could never do it because I'm way too much of an animal lover. But I know, like, we had like squirrels who were like really messing with stuff and like getting in our attic. And my husband, like, he's like, I'm gonna go buy a BB gun and just start shooting them. And I was like, you can't do that. But he was ready to because he was like over the squirrels trying to get in our attic.
Well, I also think Georgia's from
it's
rural
different
country.
Yeah.
And
it's not unheard of.
No, that's normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my thing was like, I remember the first time me watching it because I love animals. And my thing was, your first instinct is to shoot it. Like, don't be like, hey, shoot, get away. You know what I mean? Like, you just like pull out a gun and just shoot it.
She tried other methods. She put the little gate around it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think she was, I don't want to say she was justified because I could personally never shoot a bunny.
Yeah. I couldn't either, but I definitely don't have a problem with her doing it because I think it's just normal. I mean, I don't know. We're from the South here, Amanda. We get it.
I wouldn't trust me to shoot anything, but
yeah.
I can see what Georgia did.
It would have been even more Southern of her if she brought it inside and cooked it for dinner. But
if I'm being honest, I thought that's where we were going to go with it the first time I watched it.
That's what I thought we were doing.
Yeah, but I'm glad she didn't because that's really gross,
Yeah, and she just played it off when Ellen came up to the driveway to talk to her too. She just threw it right in the garbage and hey.
It was no big deal. Problem solved.
Just taking care of my garden. How are you?
Yeah, imagine. Oh my gosh.
The next thing is she talks to Max's mom about decorating her house and about Fall Fest and mom booster stuff.
Yeah.
For Halloween. And then we shoot into the inside and Georgia's making breakfast and she's very much on edge.
This episode's one of my favorites. One, because of the name of it. I'm gonna say that too, because I just think it's a really funny name of the episode. And then I love Halloween. So this whole episode just makes me laugh and all the different stuff that they do, like with her, her phone's ringing and then no one's there and Jenny pops around and says, what's your favorite scary movie? I don't know.
And like the lights flickering and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a cute episode.
And then it shoots to outside and you could see that someone's watching their house, but you don't know who it is yet.
Yeah.
Speaking
of, I wonder, so have we decided, I wonder who that is watching, because last time I think we talked about that and we had decided it was the PI, but what if, is it Maddie maybe? Because we realized that Maddie's there in town kind of sussing out the situation too. I thought about that today.
Because Maddie was sent by the PI. We find out later, right?
Yeah.
So it could have been her.
It could have been her, maybe.
Yeah, it could have been. I mean, it's one of those two. I feel like we know that.
Yeah.
Because I think if it was anybody else, we would have known by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was the PI only because at the end, let me see, hold on. At the end of this episode, almost the end of this episode, we see the PI like in front of Ginny and Georgia's house.
Yeah.
In front of the car. That's why I assumed that it was him. And at that point, her sister's not there yet.
Yeah, true.
Because her sister's not there until the next episode.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, I could be wrong, but so if we don't have anything else about that, the next thing I have is Ginny's song on YouTube. Hunter's song to Ginny, I guess.
Ugh.
Oh yeah.
I know. I'm like, we talked about this so much last time.
Every
But
time
now
I
it's
hear
all over
Hunter's
YouTube.
every time I hear
Aw.
Hunter's name now, I have to go ick.
Ugh.
I know.
Poor Hunter. I hate
I
that I have
know.
that reaction to him, but I do.
There's really nothing wrong with him. He's just it's like a 40-year-old man in a teenager's body.
He's worse than a 40-year-old man. I mean, I'm married to a 40-year-old man, and he's not like that.
I don't know what to
kinda
explain
romantic,
him.
though.
He tries, but
I
I,
mean,
feel
you
he just
know,
falls flat.
He's
He
just
is
too
romantic,
good. Like,
but
he's
it's
too overly good.
I'm not into that kind of romance. Like that makes me want to be
No.
like, ugh.
It's
No,
like
thank you.
cheesy.
Yeah.
It didn't really help that Ginny was never really into him in the first place.
I know that drove me insane. I never understood it. I guess to fit in, maybe.
Yeah.
Because Max was really into them dating and she kind of pushed for it. And you know what happens when Max wants you to do something.
Yeah.
You usually end up doing it.
Yeah.
Well, and I
exactly.
think that's what it is. I think it's more like she's never had friends. And so she's definitely probably never had a boy be interested in her. And so I think it just, that's why.
I think it's more the attention that he gives to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And what do
maybe
we
she
think?
likes
Like
the
she starts
romance.
getting popular. And I feel like this is the time she starts getting kind of bitchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't this- What she does to poor Sam really makes me mad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
not.
Farther down in the notes, I mentioned that.
I mean, because I know Sam was hateful to her, like, talking about Lana Del Rey as basic or whatever, but I don't know. I'm just not one of those. I don't think you have to return pettiness with more pettiness. I don't think that makes it right. I mean, Jenny should have just rose above and been the better person here.
Yeah.
But then we wouldn't have an interesting show to watch. So
I know. Can I just talk? What about all the attention she gets at school? I think that is so weird. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I wouldn't survive as a teenager right now if that's really how it is. Like,
I know. It's
I
mean,
awkward. Like,
we need some teenagers to talk us.
I
Is
know.
this normal now? Are we just that old now?
Facebook wasn't even a big thing until like after I had graduated high school.
Yeah.
So
it didn't.
being a teenager just looks really stressful with all the social media going around. I'm like, I'm glad I avoided that.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I had a pretty cool MySpace.
I was going to say I had MySpace, and I mean, I put all the graphics and songs.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty cool.
My page was rocking.
So embarrassing.
I'm not
Good old
embarrassed. I'm proud of
Tom.
my page.
Yeah.
Oh my
No, because I
God.
mean, Facebook wasn't even invented till I was in college. Like, and
Yeah.
college kids were the first ones to be able to. I mean, it wasn't around.
Yeah. My husband was one of those first
Yeah.
ones, like back in 03 or
Mhm.
04.
Yeah.
It was like 02, 03 somewhere.
Yeah.
For
it
me,
was
it was
somewhere
probably
back
close.
then. Way before I got it.
Yeah.
I think I got in 07, the year after I graduated high school.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so cool. I was like, I feel like such a grown-up. I have Facebook now.
I know.
I got mine in 08. I was a senior in high school.
Now I'm 30 and I don't feel like a grown-up anymore. So
No.
Well, now Facebook isn't even for the kids. Nobody has them. It's for us old people. So
I know. Facebook isn't the
it's the
cool
old
thing
people's
anymore.
social media.
We're just cool.
it's for
Yeah.
people like me who don't want to learn other social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram.
So we talked about Ginny being popular now a little bit, and she starts to show her true colors. And
I don't think it's her true colors. I think she's
Yeah, I agree.
trying
I
to
don't
be
think-
somebody who she thinks everybody wants to
She's just
be friends with.
Yeah, she's
You
just
think that's
desperate
what
to
it is?
feel. What'd you say?
I said, do you think that's what it is?
Yeah, I think she's
I think
desperate
she's wanting to feel
popular.
included.
She's never been.
Popular.
I mean, she's always bounced around and never really had friends, and so now she's
I
just.
think she's overcompensating. She's kind
She
of just
is.
mimicking what
Mhm.
other people are doing, because it's not like she's ever been in a position where she's had friends before, and so now she's like, oh, this is what it's like to have friends. You just put other people down and you do all this wackadoo stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sad.
So then Ellen and Georgia girl talk about George's date with Paul coming up. I thought that was adorable.
I did.
I
too.
love their girl talk.
Mm-hmm.
I just love any scene with Ellen in it.
Yeah.
I do too.
That I love that scene, and it's not because of the girl talk with Ellen, but it's where the whole Joe thing, and she starts doing that little cute, like, it would be real cute, Joe. And I just say, I don't know, that flirting between the two of them, I love it.
I do too.
I like it a lot. And I wonder why she's not picked up that he obviously likes her. I mean, Maddie picks up on it later in like another episode, but like
Mm-hmm.
Georgia has no clue. Ellen, you're sitting right there and you can't pick up on the fact that Joe was clearly flirting with her. I don't know, it's just weird.
I think that Georgia knows, it's just she needs to use Paul right now.
I don't see. We
I
have
don't
different
think so.
opinions on Georgia. I don't think so either.
I don't think so. There's
I
some
don't-
things where I don't know.
Mm. Georgia's not stupid, so it makes me wonder if she's toying with somebody.
Because I don't think
Whether
she's
it's
toying
Paul
with.
or Joe, I don't know.
I don't think she's toying with Paul either, because I think you can tell on her face. I mean, she really does like him. I mean, Ellen picks up on that. I think Georgia, it's the same thing. I don't know if she's ever like had someone of quality be interested in her other than Zion, and that just didn't work out. But someone who's like, I don't know, actually a good guy be interested in her. And so I think it's strange for her. Like she said, I don't usually like people.
That's why
So,
I think Paul is suspicious. He's too good.
Nah, I'm gonna stand my ground on that Paul's a good guy.
I don't want Paul to turn out to be a bad guy. That would make me sad.
I don't want him to be a bad guy. I just feel like he's hiding something. He might not be a bad guy. He might just be hiding something, but he is very sus to me.
I actually agree with you a little after watching this episode today, and it's jumping ahead just a touch, but I think it's okay. During their date, when they're like talking to each other and telling each other about their lives and all that, which we find out she's from Alabama. Did y'all catch that? We were wondering that.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
But he said something about his brother, and she says, were you his hero? And he has a strange tone in his voice when he says, yeah, I was. I don't know, it was just a weird, like,
Yeah.
and I think the only reason I picked it up on it this time is because Amanda's been saying how sketchy Paul is. And so I was like looking for something like that seemed off. And I was like, that just seems like there's a story there somehow.
Yeah. I mean, I want him to be a good guy. I like the actor.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to be awesome, but I don't know. It's something just nagging at me.
Yeah.
Maybe not anything particularly shady, but just hiding something.
Yeah. Even that. Just something's off. Shelby's has a light bulb on top of her head.
Yeah, I just had an epiphany. You just said that. Okay, it didn't click in my head until you just said that. But Paul went to the Fall Fest or whatever they called it as Superman. I wonder if that's connected.
That would be clever.
It
I
would be
mean, I don't know
very
if it is or
clever.
not, but I might be reading into it too much. I felt smart
Who
when it came to
knows?
my head.
That's what we do. That's our jobs. We're supposed to put these out there theories out there and see.
Who
See
knows?
See how insane we actually are. We're not.
Yes.
Okay. So then they're talking about Brody's party and stuff. And
Booze and booze. I love the name of that party too.
Wait, what was it?
Booze.
Booze and booze. Yeah.
booze and booze. Like boo and
Booze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was clever.
I think so. I like it.
Ginny and Maxine are talking. Yes, it's a high school party. Ginny and Maxine are talking, and Maxine's like, oh, I wish I could invite Sophie, but she's a senior, so she probably wouldn't come anyway. So of course, Ginny and her popularity Sophie comes up and she's like, hey, we're having this little party thing. Do you want to come? And of course they say yes because Ginny's popular now. Were you guys surprised that she agreed to go?
No, I mean, I don't know. I think they put too much emphasis on the fact that she's a senior. I mean, obviously she likes Max. So, I mean, I think Max could have just invited her and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because the first thing that she asked is if Max was going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you didn't watch this episode today. I don't know if you remember that or not. But
I did. I did watch this one. I just didn't watch number 7.
Okay. But yeah, when Ginny invited her, she was like, oh, Max, are you going to be there?
Mm-hmm.
And Max is just like lost words because I think she half couldn't believe that Ginny invited her.
She was daydreaming at that point.
She was.
Mm-hmm.
Plus
I
her
love
little
her.
heart.
So then Hunter comes up to Ginny and they're kind of like the it couple, you know, like who everybody wants to be kind of, which is weird to me, in my opinion. Does anyone else feel that way?
I would not want to be that couple.
No. I mean,
Oh,
I don't really care if I'm that couple or not. I mean, it's whatever it is, but
Not if it's with Marcus.
again,
or
it's
with
they
Hunter.
just don't
Ginny and
see-
Hunter. Ugh.
They
That's
just
what it
don't
is.
strike me as the typical like it couple.
Right.
Things have
I know they're
changed,
not.
though,
And they're sophomores. They would not have been this big
No.
talk of the school as sophomores. Sophomores, you barely saw sophomores.
But here we are. We're the old people. We don't know. Maybe this is how it is.
Maybe the rules have changed.
I don't
High school is different now, apparently.
couldn't have changed that much.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Eve, can
I
you
guess
please start teaching high school for a couple years and tell us
You need
what's
to
in?
know.
It's so unrealistic to me. And I think it's only because it's Ginny and Hunter. If it was Ginny and Marcus, I would have not said anything bad about this. I would have been like,
But
yeah, they're
Marcus-
the it couple.
But Marcus wouldn't have done that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
He wouldn't be so
He's-
cringeworthy. So that's the difference. I
Yeah,
swear,
but
if we
even
have
he
any,
did, it would have been a lot better. We would have liked
Yeah.
it if he like serenaded her.
if a Hunter fan starts listening to us, I swear they're gonna like unsubscribe right away. I'm sorry, but we just don't like him.
I don't think we got many people voting for Hunter in the poll we did in the group though. So I don't think we have too much to worry about.
Right. I think we're right on this.
Yeah. I don't think we have anyone coming after us. So we're good.
Speaking of Hunter, and they have that dinner with his parents, right? And that's coming up pretty.
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much right after this, isn't it?
For the most part, I have one more thing
Oh,
before
what-
that, but if you
what
want
did
to
you
talk
have?
about it, we can.
Oh, well, you can go ahead. What would you have?
So they were talking about the costume party and what they wanted to do. And this is when Georgia showed her itchy side and like
Jenny?
counted Sam out basically. And I don't know if you saw my note or not, but you know how I said love you, mean it, hate you, kidding or whatever.
Mhm.
I said hate her, mean it.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, I don't like that part where she's mean to Sam. I think it's unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't like the whole bullying aspect of it.
Mhm.
But yeah, so then I have dinner at Hunter's parents. Ginny's pretty much a hit. They love her. And then they spilled the beans that Abby's parents were split still.
Mhm.
And Ginny was like so surprised. And my thing is, if you guys are best friends, like why don't you know that about your friend?
Well, I mean, I can
I
understand
don't
because
think
Abby,
she's open about that.
Abby didn't tell anybody. But my thing was, now that you know, why didn't you go talk to her and see if she needed someone? She doesn't even
Yeah.
bring it up to her. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I would have done if I found out that one of my friends was going through something major like that from someone else. I would go to them and be like, "Hey, I heard this. Is everything okay? Like, do you need
Yeah.
anything?"
Let them know it'll be okay. Do the friend thing.
And I think Abby would have actually. I mean, she might have been kind of weird at first because that's just her personality, but I think she would have appreciated it.
I think she was kind of wanting
Mm-hmm.
people to be there for her, but then also she didn't want to tell people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Poor girl.
absolutely.
I know.
I know. I feel so bad for Abby.
Mhm. Me too.
She always looks so sad.
She does.
She does.
I
She
don't
just
know, there's
looks
something
miserable.
about her. She always looks like, a sad little puppy.
Mhm.
Poor girl.
I
Man.
want to give her a hug.
I hope next
know.
season we get to start seeing something happier about her.
Yeah. Because I hate that her friend, it really bugs me every time I watch this that her friends don't notice
Yeah.
like what she's going
oblivious
through.
to it.
I mean, and Jenny's new to the group, so I mean, whatever. But I mean, like, Nora's supposed to be like her best friend, and you don't notice any of this ever. It's weird.
And Max pretty much just dropped. I think that Max and Abby were the Ginny and Max before Ginny
Yeah.
came.
Well, I mean, I love Max and all, but Max is super selfish, so you can't actually.
Max is
expect
always
her
wrapped. Max is always wrapped up in her own drama, so
Mhm.
that it didn't surprise me that Max never said anything.
The
But
Nora, I think the Nora
Nora
one surprises me.
yeah, Nora surprised me because I thought that her and Abby were like really close.
I thought so too.
So the next thing during right after, or I guess during the dinner at Hunter's, there's a flashback to Zion and George's dinner at Zion's parents' house. And that's when they dropped the ball that they wanted custody of Ginny.
It breaks my heart.
Oh.
That was
I know Zion.
this is the first time we'd seen Zion's parents, right?
We've seen his mom before.
Just briefly, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it was like in one scene in the episode 4, I think.
Mhm. Yeah. But I mean, it makes me like, and I think this is why I'm not a Zion fan. I think it's the scene, and I realized that when I watched it today, which I know he's young here,
Mhm.
but just the way that he just like folds to them,
Yeah,
it just really bugs me.
it does me too.
You know, and
Their relationship is very odd to me.
I agree.
I don't understand their relationship.
And then it makes me mad, you know, at the same time, because you see this scene and then you see like Jenny being terribly disrespectful to her mother and just hateful. And it's like, kid, if you only knew, like, you are the reason that your mom has gone through most of her struggles. And not to say that, I mean, obviously she chose to have a kid and all that, but,
Yeah.
you know, she's done everything. You've always been number one priority in her life since the moment you arrived. And it's sad.
Yeah. Absolutely. That part just killed me.
Georgia isn't a selfish person. She's not doing all of the stuff that she does just because it's what she wants. She's doing all these, not so great things for her kids.
She's had a tough life. I mean, like, she's done what she needed to do. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even in never mind, it wasn't this episode, so I'm gonna save that. Just kidding.
Okay.
I mean, it was in this, like, it was in the next one, I think. But even like when Ginny's narrating, like it was either 6 or 7. It was the one with her birthday. She said how Georgia will do anything to make stuff special, even when they were basically broke, didn't have anything. She did something shady to make it so that they could have the whole movie theater to themselves. And just stuff like that.
Let off a stink bomb or something.
That's what it was, yeah.
Well, Austin says too in this episode when they were talking about, yeah. But I mean, like, he mentioned something about, or I guess they talk about when they didn't have electricity for a month or something, and Austin's like, ooh, flashlight dance parties. So I mean, she's always been good about, like, even when times are tough, like, she makes memories and makes things like special for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate that about her because I don't have that personality. I mean, like, I can't do that, I guess.
Oh, so. No, I would be stressed out.
Yeah.
My kids will be consoling me.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, so I really love this about her.
But I also think that you guys wouldn't make it so that your electricity went out either.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
You never know. I mean, I don't want to say it can never happen.
Yeah.
Things get tough. I mean,
yeah. Never know.
Because I'm good, but I mean, there's definitely my childhood moments when things like that were very similar to like Georgia's or Jenny's upbringing. So
yeah,
it happens.
She's just a good mom and covers it a lot.
Yeah.
So the next thing, Ginny kind of comes unraveled at Hunter's dinner, and she's rambling on and on and on about stuff. When they ask about her parents, she kind of just comes unraveled a little bit.
That was pretty awkward to listen to.
It was. I think
I spent
that
the whole time saying, Ginny, just stop talking.
I think that proves like what we were saying. Like, I think, she just wants to be accepted and included. And so she got rattled in that moment that she didn't have the perfect home life. And so she just sort of panicked and started telling them everything,
And Hunter's parents are just sitting there staring at her.
Yeah.
So the next thing, I think that Georgia took decorations from other people's houses.
Oh,
but then I wasn't sure because
100%.
Yeah,
That was
she did. She just got out of the car and took them.
But I wasn't sure because then Ginny said something later on about how she's the one that decorated the house. So I didn't know if Ginny was the one that did it or if Georgia did.
I don't remember. When
I'm a
did she
little
say that?
confused.
I guess I don't remember that part, her saying that.
Unless maybe George is the one who stole all the decorations, and then Ginny was the one who used those decorations to decorate the house.
That's what
I'm
I
not
was
sure.
thinking.
But Ginny definitely said that she's the one that decorated the house.
Or maybe George just put him in I think I would have put him like in the basement and said, look at all these I found. Why don't you decorate?
I don't know.
They don't really let us get to see that. So
No, it was just like the camera cut and the house was decorated with stuff that was at the other person's house. So then Cynthia announces she's running for mayor. What did you guys think of that? Were you surprised?
No.
I wasn't surprised, really.
It's typical
her
Cynthia.
edge. Yeah, but I don't think she'll win. At least hopefully not. I mean, who knows? But I think they're going to make it probably a storyline next season. I think that'll be like one of the main storylines.
And then
Your motorcycle dungeonette.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he's doing out there. I mean, it's like he parked in front of my house for a few minutes. I was like, it kept sounding like it was going to go away, and then he'd rev it up again. I'm like, around here, though, it could have not been a motorcycle. It could have been some like diesel like truck, because it's hard to tell the difference, to be honest with you. So I don't know which it is.
So then we're at the party, and the main costume reveal, they were all of the different Britney Spearses.
Oh, I love that.
That was clever. I was like, that is a really clever Halloween, like group Halloween costume.
That was amazing.
And we didn't talk about this, but I have to say it. When they tell Georgia which they're going to be, and Georgia's like, you just called Britney retro. And when she said I have to go cryogenically freeze myself now, I laughed so hard because I had the same reaction because they said it earlier about let's go retro. Yeah. Britney Spears. I'm like, retro? Like,
I know.
Yeah. Britney Spears retro.
Retro and Britney Spears in the same sentence. I was like,
broke my heart.
Are we? Is that where we are now with Britney?
I think it is, unfortunately.
That's my childhood.
Oh no.
I know. I mean, that has to be the coolest costume, though. I mean, I was like, this is a really fun idea.
It was really cool. I loved seeing it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Britney, and that's Britney, and that's it was just very Britney.
I was like naming. I'm like, that's from this video, and that's from this video.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Good call, Ginny. That was Ginny's idea, right?
It was. It was a good idea.
Good idea, Ginny.
Excellent. Yep.
I was mad at Max for doing red jump soap and then also doing I'm a slave for you. I'm like, you could have let Abby have red jumpsuit if you were going to do I'm a slave for you.
Yeah.
That's pretty shady.
That was. I didn't.
But Abby rocked her little, what one's that one from? I can picture them. That's on, I don't know. Anyways, I can picture it in my head. I just don't know what song it's called.
I can't picture it in my head right now, or I could probably.
I like it with the vest and the tie and she look good.
Oh, hit me, baby, one more time.
No, because that's what Ginny was doing.
The schoolgirl? Schoolgirl?
Yeah, the one that Abby did, though, because Abby did where she's got the hat on, she's got the vest and the tie.
So
the Toxic?
Is that one also in Toxic? Or is that Toxic? Yeah, it is Toxic.
The thing that got on my nerves about them being Britney is Britney Spears had enough videos that Sam could have been included too.
Oh, definitely. They were just being shady. I mean, like. for sure.
Absolutely. There was no going around that. They're just being their little clique.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want everybody else to. She's not an insider, you know?
Yeah. And then speaking of Sam, then Abby and Sam competed on giving Brad a lap dance.
Oh, that was grody.
Okay, next.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Abby and Nora kiss. Abby's sloppy drunk.
Oh, poor Abby, man. I think we've already talked enough about her, but
She's crying in the bathroom.
it really hurts my heart seeing her like that.
Well, I'm pretty sure she threw up in the bathroom, didn't she?
Abby?
Yeah, I'm thinking we're heading into, because that was after he called her whale legs. I think we're heading into the fact that she might be bulimic as well. Like she was in there throwing up. We already
I
know she
think so.
tapes her thighs down. Oh, I think so, because she wiped her
think
mouth
so.
and then spit in the sink. Like,
Yeah,
she threw up.
that's the vibes I'm getting.
So I think she made herself throw up.
Really? I
Yeah.
didn't get that. Okay. That went over.
Because
That
she
would have been
spits in the
hard.
sink. I mean, I don't know why you would do that unless you had just thrown up. Am I giving away?
Well,
that
yeah, I
I've,
got the
thrown up in
puking
the
part of
bathroom?
it, but I got the puking part of it, but I didn't think about the whole bulimic part of it.
wouldn't
I mean,
put-
she was drinking a lot too, so
It's true, but I mean, just the fact that she's really self-conscious about her weight and like the size of her legs and all that just made me think.
I mean, we've already
Yeah.
seen her like taping her legs up under
Mhm.
her jeans.
Mhm.
so I think that's gonna be where they're going with that.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, so next, okay, disclosure to the people that are listening. We're getting into race things and self-harm. If kids are around, possibly shoo them out of the way or wait to listen until you're not with them. So Ginny offended the leadership girl, Maisha or Masha, whatever. Ginny's looking at comments on YouTube, and there's a lot of comments on there about her race, talking about that she's like the whitest Black girl that they've seen and stuff like
Yeah.
that, which we touch on that a little bit more later on in another episode too. But what do you guys think of that? Like, do you think that she's having kind of an identity crisis because she's mixed, or?
Oh yeah, I think she doesn't know where
Yeah.
she fits in.
I mean, I think she's been like that from kind of the start, where you could see even episodes like 1 or 2 when in the hallways,
Yeah.
you know, she was kind of being pulled in both different
Well, and
racial sections. I mean, I don't know what to call that, but groups, cliques,
yeah, clicks. I think
cliques.
I was really upset with that girl that sort of insulted her being Brittany when she says, "And that's what you
Yeah.
chose." Like, who cares? Like what you chose. I mean, like if you like Brittany, be Brittany.
That really pissed me off.
And it's not like
Yeah.
she just went along with it. I mean, it was her idea. So obviously she does like Brittany, and that's okay. Who doesn't like Brittany? I'm just saying, but
Yeah, another thing too is that you can see from very early on that Ginny doesn't really even feel like she fits in with her own family, you know, being Georgia and Austin. Well, you know, Austin's a different story. That's her little brother. But we get the sense very early on that she doesn't really feel like she fits in with Georgia where she's concerned.
yeah.
I mean, she's made that known to
And
Georgia.
then later on, when I know I'm getting a little ahead, but later on when Zion comes into the picture, we can see that he and Ginny have a really close bond. So I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's a daddy-daughter thing or if it's.
I think it's because she builds this picture up of Zion in her head because he's
Well,
hardly
he's the-
ever around.
Yeah. It's
George is
easy to
the
be
parent.
that-
She's
It's
got
easy
to
to be pissed off at the parent who's always there.
exactly.
Yeah, because they have to deal with the hard stuff. Zion gets to come on in and just have fun and not have to deal with any of the hard
Yeah.
stuff.
He gets to
Yeah.
build the blanket forts and, you know, take his daughter
Exactly.
to, you know, cool poetry readings.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't actually parent her.
I
He's
don't care.
a
He's
friend to her.
He's not much of a parent, in my opinion.
No.
That's just me.
He's not. That
So then Ginny's in the bathroom and she burns herself with the candle.
yeah. This is
which
the
I mean,
second
this is
time
getting
we've
a
seen
regular
this.
thing with her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because now this is the second time, so
Yeah.
it wasn't a one-off thing. This is a habit.
So then Georgia and Paul bang it out in his office while Austin's home alone.
That was funny. I know. You know what? I didn't mind her having to stay around, to do work stuff after they found out that, Cynthia was running for mayor, because it is what it is. Work stuff, sometimes it comes up. I remember that. I would have said, Ginny, take your brother trick-or-treating, and then you can go to your party afterwards. Like, I'm at work. Then I
Yeah.
wouldn't have stuck around to have sex with my boss. I would have went on home to my 9-year-old who's by himself, but that's just me.
I
Same.
do like how Shelby, introduced that part of the show though.
That they bang it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say though, and Maureen, if you're listening, I feel like you would like this, because no, you don't, because you don't like Scarlett O'Hara. So never mind, scratch that. But me and Amanda do. When he said his whole frankly, what did he say? Because he said exactly from the thing, right? Like,
Frankly, my dear,
frankly, dear, I don't
give
give a damn. And she said, "Oh, it was a hot thing to say." I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, as soon as he said it, I was like, "Well, that was hot." Like,
Yeah.
just throw that in there.
Let's go on with the Win fans think it's hot.
Austin's at home alone watching horror movies, and he's freaked out because of the lights flickering and everything, which we find out later on that the sister's there, so he probably has a legitimate reason to be freaked out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty
He
freaky.
does.
I mean,
She came in the house, right? That's what he got up. She came on in their house, correct?
yeah, because Georgia got home
Yeah.
and then
Georgia
was there.
found her in her house.
Yeah. So yeah. I think that's why he's freaked out, because he heard somebody come in.
Yeah, so that was legit. And he's only how old?
I don't know. He's like 7 or 8, maybe.
Definitely
Yeah.
not old enough to
9
be by himself.
max.
right?
Not old enough to be by himself.
No, definitely
not
not.
even mature, not even a mature enough 7-8-year-old to be by him.
So then back to the party, Max offends Sophie by saying that she makes out with everyone. So it's not a big deal.
Mhm.
And Sophie, of course, took that the wrong way.
Mhm.
Well, I don't think she took it the wrong way.
Poor Max just gets so nervous around everyone. I was like, Max, tone it down. That's not a cool.
Yeah,
thing
because
to
I think
say.
Sophie was completely justified in being offended and leaving, because I wouldn't have wanted to be around Max at all at that point.
No.
Oh, you kiss everyone. You don't really want me here.
Yeah, cool. So that doesn't really mean much to me if you just make out with everybody.
Exactly.
Then Georgia gets home and she finds a stranger in her house, which they don't introduce it as her sister yet, but that's who it is.
Yeah. Maddie.
And then Ginny helps Max home, and I put Marcus as such a good brother.
He is.
Yes.
He
really
covered
is.
for Max, and then he was there helping her, and he put the trash can next to the bed and everything. And
What do you say?
I
Hey,
don't know.
loser, sleep on your side.
Mhm.
It was such a brother thing to say. He's like, roll over. But then he kissed her on the head. That was
It's
the
a
moment I fell in love with Marcus. I'm just saying.
It's a
That
very
was
it's a very brother-sister relationship
it
because
is.
they ragged on each other all the time. I mean, up until now, you've only ever seen them rag on
Mhm.
each other constantly.
I would like to see Max actually be nice to him.
Yeah.
Even when he got hurt, I know we're not there yet, but even later on, it never seems that she's really concerned about her brother. She bugs me.
Oh,
Every time I watch, she bugs me more and more.
I love that Marcus helps her, and he even covered for her. He was like, "Oh, I scared Max," when her mom yelled down, and she's like, "Stop picking on your sister." He didn't really get in trouble for her, but he covered for her and took the blame for something that he
I thought
shouldn't have
that
had
was
to
a
blame
really
for.
funny excuse, like a very last minute. It's like, oh, I scared Max.
Yeah.
That's why she's screaming.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have believed that as a mother, but
You know what? Just you don't
Especially
need to know
given,
everything.
I don't know, especially given the fact that Ellen already, knows that he's doing drugs. I feel like Ellen may be at the point where she's like, I don't even want to know what you guys are up to.
Exactly. I do not want to know. I don't really care what you're doing. Just stay
Don't want
alive.
to be involved.
She
Like,
has
don't-
this
like what I-
mantra.
Like what I said, don't call me unless the house is on fire or you're dying.
Exactly.
So next, Ginny talks to Marcus, pretty much puts him in the friend zone. Which I feel really bad for him because he stays trying and she just shuts it down every single time.
She does.
Yeah.
Poor Marcus.
But, and we know I love Marcus, but his first interaction with her sort of set the stage for how she was going to treat you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
you had relations and then you just bounced like without even anything. So climbed through her window, did that, climbed back
And then
out.
we
I
need
mean,
Padma.
yeah. So as much as I love him, you sort of set the stage for this.
We got it. He's still young too.
Oh, I know. Like I'm totally on board. Never mind. I'm just gonna not say what I was thinking. We'll go on. I forget Maureen's listening to us. Moving on.
Moving on.
Mom's listening.
All right.
Yeah.
So next. We're back at home. We're back at Ginny's house and she's spiraling, saying that to Georgia, I will not be trash like you, which made me mad because that's disrespectful.
You don't
Very
talk.
I probably would have gotten smacked in the face.
Yeah. You can't talk to your mother like that. Like Ginny's disrespectful a lot. And I mean, aside from like if your mother's like abusing or neglecting you, then I guess I'm like, whatever. I don't feel bad then. But otherwise, there's absolutely no reason to like
No one
treat
would have
your mother that way.
No one would have
No.
ever seen my face ever again if I ever talked to my mother that way.
Agreed.
So after Ginny's spiraling, we have a flashback to when Georgia leaves Zion's house with Ginny as a
Mhm.
baby because she's afraid that Zion's parents are going to take her from her. Do you think that was justified or was it stupid?
No, it was absolutely justified. It may have been stupid, but it was justified too. I mean, I would have done the same thing. You're not going to take my kid, so
Do you
I'll
really
live on
think
the
they had a
street.
chance of taking her though?
I really think they would have, yes.
I think they would have tried, but with
And they
Georgia
would've-
being Ginny's mother, do you think they would have succeeded?
Yes. Because who would? I mean, they're rich and they've got all these resources that she didn't have. They could have easily. And then when you've got Zion just like folding to everything they say, not even trying to fight back, I think they would have taken her.
And I think they would have been successful.
Mhm.
Oh
But
yeah.
wouldn't Georgia have parents' rights?
Not if they can prove that she's unfit.
Yeah.
Uh,
And isn't his dad a lawyer?
I don't know.
I
Was
felt
he?
like I just got that idea
They
because
at
they
least
wanted
tried-
Zion to go to law school. So I was just assuming that like the
They at
family
least
was.
strike me as the kind of people who would be able to afford, a good enough lawyer who would be successful in
Yeah.
getting custody.
They knew what they were doing. And it was, I don't know. I mean, they had already that you just approached them with like, we're going to take guardianship over your child without even like, I don't know.
Almost as if like it was understood
Mhm.
between all parties that that's what was going to happen. It's like, no, this is my baby.
Yeah, I mean, they were bullying her into that. I mean, she's
Oh,
the
yeah.
mother. It's not okay. They took advantage of the fact that she was some young, scared kid and that they thought they were just going to be able to do it. And
It would have been one thing if they said, we've decided that you're going to live in our house and we're going to help you raise the baby.
yeah.
But they
Yeah.
just jumped right ahead to, we're going to take guardianship.
So he can go off to school. Do we even know what they had planned for Georgia? What was she supposed to go do? I mean, I didn't like
Go
that at
somewhere.
all. Yeah.
Hang out at the house while his parents rubbed it in her face that they took guardianship. Like,
I care. They would have run her off.
Hmm.
They would have taken that baby and run her off.
No.
I don't like
If
them.
I was her, they'd be lucky if they ever saw their grandchild again.
Yeah.
Zion
wouldn't
has
have been-
rights. They don't.
and we do get the idea later on, because I think Ginny mentioned mentions her grandparents later. Like she makes a comment like, oh, but grandma and grandpa aren't scary or something like that.
Yeah.
So we do get the sense that Ginny has some kind of relationship with them, but I don't know. If I was Georgia, I'd be like, oh, well, that's an invitation for you to never see my kid again.
Exactly. I'd be gone.
So we see who's watching the house, which is the PI, Gabriel. And then at the very end, Austin's being picked on by Zach and he stabs him in the hand.
I mean, I'm going to sound awful right now. Zach was being kind of an ass. So
He was.
Yeah, you don't stab people, guys.
no, you
It's
can't
not
stab
nice.
people, but
Trust me, everybody thinks about it sometimes, but you can't actually do it.
you
Stab
also
you
shouldn't
did.
walk. I mean, you shouldn't bully kids like you all were doing to Austin either, though. Sometimes karma gets you, is all I'm saying.
Poor kid can
I
only hold
was-
it in so much.
The stabbing was a little extreme, but I can't say I felt too bad for Zach because he was being a little jerk.
And my thing is too, they made, okay, this makes me sound terrible too, but
Go
it
for it.
was one stitch.
Exactly.
The next episode, Cynthia is making a big fuss. Her precious son had to get one stitch in his hand.
But Shelby, we
That
don't
is
know when
nothing.
he's going to be able to hold a tennis racket again.
Yeah, that's devastating.
So take him to the country club and show him how to use his left hand.
I know, it's stupid.
Hire a fancy trainer and teach him how to play tennis with his other hand.
Exactly.
Right.
I know I'm supposed to feel sympathy for the kid, but I don't. I do think
That's not our
Austin
fault.
needs therapy. I feel sympathy for Austin
Yes.
that he's that messed up that he felt like that's what he should do.
Absolutely.
I don't really care about that.
And he definitely has, Austin has psychopathic tendencies, psychologically speaking.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Definitely he does. I 100% agree with that. And he needs some help.
He does.
Especially with how easily Georgia got him to just, punch him in the face earlier on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She didn't have to talk him into that too much. She was just like,
No.
okay, popped him. I was like, holy cow, you're 8.
Yeah. Oh my, I feel like this wasn't the first time.
Right.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff that he does that's a little questionable, like as far as even later on, I think it's this episode that we're talking about now, 6. He's playing with fire, which is something that
Well, that was the
really
influence
shouldn't.
of Caleb, the cousin, I think.
Well, yeah, but
Don't you think?
No,
That was
I
probably
don't know.
his
He
idea.
definitely has issues.
Yeah,
It's not
no, I
like Caleb
agree
was
for
much
sure.
of an angel either. So
Yeah. So anyway, Austin got suspended and they agreed for him to be suspended and for him to get therapy. And basically, the first time around, I couldn't really tell that Georgia was just like agreeing with everything that the principal said until they were in the car and they were like, oh yeah, I didn't mean any of that. But this time around, I'm like, oh yeah, she's definitely playing him as a fool.
Oh yeah, she was. But you could tell she was, but I think the school that they did the right thing.
Yeah.
Georgia's just she doesn't want to see that about her baby boy.
Yeah. I understand that too. I mean, from an outside perspective, you see that he needs therapy. Sometimes it's harder as a parent to see it,
Exactly.
You don't want to see your kid's faults at all. So
No, but they're real.
I know.
You gotta sometimes the best thing you can do for your kids is to look at their faults.
I agree.
Yeah. So Ginny had an attitude problem, tired of Georgia lying. And then I think this is where she found out that Georgia was married. I think that's what I mean by what I wrote there.
I don't think she finds that out till later because it's not till her aunt calls her Mary or something when she's leaving.
Then I don't know why I wrote that there. Either way.
Maybe it's the first time we saw a flashback of them calling her Mary.
Georgia and Maddie were reminiscing about the past, and you could tell that Georgia doesn't really trust Maddie, but she's kind of playing into the whole like my sister's back type of vibe.
Yeah.
I think to an extent I thought a little bit of it was genuine. Like, I think she loves her sister and she missed her, but she's just, it's again, once it's about protecting her kids and the life they've built, and she knows that Maddie's bad news.
Well, I think it's a fine balance between, that's her sister, and it's clear that they were very close, and it's very easy to fall back into that.
Yeah.
But then she's still being really guarded because, that's just who Georgia is. She always has to be like 2-3 steps ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
So then she says that they can stay until Austin has to go back to school. And then Ginny just leaves the house. Georgia asked her where she's going, and she basically told her it was none of her business. And she left, and they were in the car on a date. And then Hunter basically puts things in perspective for Ginny about Maddie. And then Ginny, of course, got offended because she thought that he was taking Georgia's side, when in reality he was just telling her what it was.
Yeah.
And that one I thought she was a little bit justified. I mean, we can see like what's going on here, but I feel like his role as the boyfriend, he should have done what Marcus does later and say, man, that sucks, like, and be there for her.
That's what she was looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah, she wasn't looking for him to change her mind.
Her problems.
Yeah.
She just
Like,
wanted somebody to listen to listen to
fix
her.
my problems, Hunter.
Yeah, we can fix our own problems. We just want you all to hear them and like be in it with us.
We already know how to fix the problem. We just want to complain about it first.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Maddie tells Georgia their mom's not doing good. And Georgia pretty much tells her that she shouldn't have been drinking and doing drugs as much as she did. And maybe she'd be doing better.
Probably right.
Burn.
Yeah.
Drugs and alcohol don't bode well for someone's health.
So then flashback to Georgia working in the hotel. She's dating the boss.
I don't think she's dating him, is she?
I don't know. He was talking pretty sweet to her. Were they not dating?
I don't think so. I think he likes her and he's watching Ginny for her.
Okay.
Because I don't think she gives him, did I read that right? Because I don't think she gives him anything back with that.
I don't feel like she does.
I know later they get married, but I think it's more, or maybe they get married. I don't know, but it's more.
I don't think they actually get married.
She pretends to date, but that's more of when he's blackmailing her. Like, I don't think they're dating before that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I'm going to have to.
I think he likes her. I don't think.
He was talking
he loves her.
But then, yes. And then he was kind of offended because she was talking about like how crappy the room was and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, but I'm giving it to you for free. Plus I'm paying for you for working here. And my dad doesn't even know that I'm doing this. Like, she was being pretty ungrateful because he was really kind of going out of his way for her.
But I don't think she trusts many people anymore.
I got the impression that he may be paying her and doing all this, but it's not like she's making very much. I think I don't know. I think he's a bad dude.
I do too. I think that he's
knows
pretty much just keeping her there.
And he's taking advantage of the fact that she's desperate and she needs him to,
Because he was paying her under the table too. So usually if you're being paid under the table, you're getting paid like minimum wage or maybe even less.
Well, she made the comment about how she'd take her to the ER. And I know ER visits can get expensive, but she said it was 4 months' salary that it cost her. So she can't be making very much at all.
No, I don't think she is. He's probably paying her just enough to where she can't go anywhere, but enough to where she can't just walk away.
Right. And hoping that eventually she'll be grateful enough to date him and be with him.
Exactly.
Which I don't think she's going to do that.
Creepy dude.
Yeah.
I wanted really bad things to happen to him at some point. I was like, I hope something really bad happens to this guy because he is just giving me really, really creepy vibes.
Spoiler alert. It will.
I think even when I was watching the first time, because Amanda or Jeanette, one of the two finished before I did, and I'm pretty sure I even asked them, like, does he like assault her or do something to her? Because I really got the feeling that he was a perv.
Yeah.
I think he is a little bit, because imagine how old is she? Probably barely 17,
Probably, yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
18, but probably closer to 17, because what she had Jenny when she was 15.
I would say she's probably closer to 16.
Yeah, so he is a perv. He's clearly a grown man.
Yeah. He's a total
It's gross.
creepo.
Yeah.
That deserves to be somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. So next, Abby and Ginny talk about Austin.
Mhm.
Mhm. Abby says that her parents were therapists and that she could try to get him in some to talk to him, because Ginny was saying that also needed to talk to somebody, but at that point she didn't know that Georgia was against it. And then later on she said that they wouldn't be able to see him without Georgia being there because of how young he is.
Mhm.
They
Or
would
at
need
least-
Georgia's.
Or at least not without her consent.
And then next, Georgia's going back and forth about stealing money from the mayor's office, but she hasn't done it yet. She was just basically tempted to do so.
Mhm.
And
Which-
then,
We know where that
Go ahead.
goes. Which we know where that goes.
Yeah.
mhm. And then Georgia meets Jesse, the guy who's watching them, but she doesn't know that yet, and she doesn't know that that's not his name. He was dating Nick, right? Or I don't know if they were dating,
Yeah.
but they were at least seeing each other.
Seeing each
Yeah.
other. I don't think it was official anything, but yeah.
So then we have the flashback where Georgia does the poker night at the hotel, and Maddie shows up.
So we get to see a little bit of
That
their
was sad.
history.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another good casting, because I thought that young Maddie
Yeah. Was
as,
I
the younger version of the grown-up one.
agree.
Oh yeah. They did a really good job.
Definitely. Then Maddie goes into Joe's restaurant place, I forget what it's called, and embarrasses Ginny in front of her friends,
Mhm.
which I didn't get this the first time around, and I barely got it this time around, but Maddie was the person that her and her friends were making fun of at Joe's restaurant before,
Oh
calling
yeah.
her like white trash and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but she didn't realize who she was at first.
Right.
Yep.
I didn't pick that up until like just now.
Yeah.
Um,
That was
That was really embarrassing to watch.
it was. I didn't like watching it.
And who was it? Like Max, Abby, and Nora are sitting there staring at her.
Yeah.
Maddie's just kind of weird as it is. Like, push aside like the fact that she was brought up the way that she was and everything. She just kind of is just a weird person, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Maddie's another one that has those funny sayings like we talk about on Sweet Magnolias. Like
Yeah,
this episode, doesn't she say
Yeah, she's crazier than
a cat in a room full of
than a
rocking
cat.
chairs?
Yeah.
It's
I
like
think that was in response to like what Ginny asked, like, what were my grandparents like? Well, your grandma was like a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. And Ginny was like, well, what does that mean? I was like, yes, Maddie, what does that mean?
I mean, imagine how scared a poor cat in a room full of rocking chairs would be. I don't know, I thought it was funny.
I did too. I laughed.
So then Austin and Caleb lit Georgia's garden on fire, which we talked about a little bit.
Mhm.
Do you guys have anything else to add to that?
I think
No,
I think like what was it? Georgia was in the middle of something, and then all of a sudden she says, Max just called and she said our lawn's on fire.
Yeah. They had like what did they have? Like, did they have blow torches or something? Like,
They were playing with
It was-
I think they were playing with blow torches and Maddie didn't think there's anything wrong with it. I was like, they just set the freaking lawn on fire.
I mean, what,
Well, it was a makeshift blowtorch. It was WD-40 and a lighter.
that's right.
Oh yeah.
Well, doesn't Maddie say like, what did her and Georgia used to play something, and and dodge or
We used to
something.
play with that when we were kids too.
Oh yeah, that's too.
And
It kills
and George
spiders.
was like, we had no parent supervision.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
She's not a terrible mom, but she also has her flaws. But like compared to Maddie, George is like top notch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Maddie's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
she is. I don't know.
Georgia
something-
lets a lot of things go, but
And Georgia got out of her home life faster and earlier than I think Maddie did.
Right.
So I think that had a lot to do with how different they actually are.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
both went through the same tragedy.
Mm-hmm. This is where Maddie picks up that Joe has a crush on Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it.
Yeah. And Joe talks to Georgia about Maddie. And I think Maddie has a little bit of a crush on Joe too. Because she was kind of flirting with him a little bit too.
I get the impression she's just one of those people who just flirts with everybody, is what I think about her. Like, I just don't think she cares. So
I don't think she actually liked Joe. I think she was just learning to flirt.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
think that's more, yeah,
I think she was also kind of just playing off of the fact that she could tell
that he liked Georgia.
that he liked Georgia. So she was
Yeah.
kind of playing herself up because of that.
Because when they're dancing, she's like, Joe, and then she's like, here, you two dance, and gets them to dance with each other. Love it.
That was fun. I like that.
I like that part too.
And then Georgia and Maddie were talking about Kenny, Georgia's ex-husband. And Maddie's asking a lot of questions, which I remember thinking was super shady when I started watching it the first time.
Yeah. And not to go back for just a second, but like when Jenny's like telling like Max and Marcus about all of this, I mean, you'll notice that even Marcus is even more concerned and more of a friend to her about that than even Max is. Max shows no concern over how that like makes her feel and what she's going through, but Marcus does. It's because he's amazing.
Because we love him.
Max is very much about herself.
Yeah,
Yes.
unfortunately, Max, the more times I watch this, the less I like Max. I think I loved her so much the first time because she was funny.
Yeah.
And she amused me. But every time I watch it since, I like her just a little bit less.
I'm the same way
I
as you.
start liking Marcus. Yeah, I start liking Marcus more and
Yeah.
Max less.
Max.
Max is just so surface level. There's really nothing more than the fact that she's funny. It's not like she's a good friend.
Yeah, the more that I watch it too, I don't like Ginny either. Like I remember the first time that I watched it, the birthday episode is what got me to really like despise Ginny pretty
Yeah.
much.
Mhm.
But now, like all through this rewatch, I don't have any tolerance for
Yeah.
her.
I go back and forth on Jenny, I think.
I do too.
I mean, like, she makes me mad, but then I feel sorry for her, and then she makes me
Yeah.
mad, and then I feel sorry for her. So, but Max has no, I mean, you have no, I don't know. Max bugs me. You have no reason to be so, like, self-absorbed.
She's
And,
it's
you
all
know-
about her.
Mm-hmm.
It really bothers me about Max too, and I don't know why it bothers me because I have no reason to be bothered about this, but it really bugs me that she calls her parents by their first names.
Oh,
Yeah, that bugs me too.
I didn't even pay attention to that, to be honest. I don't know.
I didn't pay attention to it the first time watching it, but this
Yeah.
time it's really like irking my soul, and I don't know why because like I don't know. I don't really have a reason to be mad about it, but it
bugs
just
you.
bugs me.
I think
But
that's just because Max is bugging you more.
Probably.
it might be. It might be.
Everything she does just annoys you now.
I mean, she still makes me laugh harder than anybody else. So, I mean, I still
She's
do
funny.
love her, but then she
I
makes me
love her
mad.
character, but
Mhm.
she's very self-absorbed.
Yeah.
I love her
And
character
I
like
Go ahead.
surface level, but then
Mhm.
once you start digging deep, it's like she's not that wonderful of a person.
She's not a good person, really. I won't say that. I do think she's a good person underneath there somewhere. She'd have to be because her parents are good people. Marcus is a good person, I think. So,
But I mean, think about a lot of our favorite characters from other shows. They didn't
Right.
always start out with the
true.
amazing personalities. You need to
It's
see the
only been
growth.
one season.
that's
Yeah.
true. It feels
So-
like so much more because we've watched it so many times in such a short amount of time.
I'm really hoping that they give her more of a storyline and she can kind of redeem herself because
Yeah.
I love that actress.
I do
I
too.
loved her in Degrassi. I follow her on TikTok. She's hilarious.
Mhm.
I love that actress. So I really hope that they give her a chance to shine.
Yeah,
So do I.
it'd be nice.
All right, so moving on because we're running out of time here. Ginny and Marcus and Max are babysitting Austin. They're playing Floor is Lava.
And it's adorable.
That
It
was so
is.
cute how into babysitting Marcus was. He was like, yeah, let's all go. I'm invested now. I was like, cool, let's all go babysit. Like,
Yeah,
Love
because
it.
I feel like Max kind of went for the drama, but I think that Marcus actually went because he thought it would be fun to babysit Austin.
You just
think he
want
was
to
just-
spend time with.
Yeah, I just wanted to go
Ginny.
hang out, you know?
yeah,
Yeah, Maddie and Georgia come home. They're both loaded. Joe brings them home and helps Georgia to get Maddie up to bed after she basically faints on the floor at the Harry Potter book.
Talking about poor Snape.
Paul comes in with flowers and
Stop
Ginny
that,
told him to go
Amanda.
upstairs.
I'm gonna have to yell at her over the Paul situation. Paul is amazing. Watch, Amanda and I are gonna fight over Paul.
Joe's
So
up there
sweet.
having this moment, and here comes
I
Paul
know.
with his stupid freaking flowers.
They were beautiful flowers. Isn't
Oh
it
my
funny
God.
that I hate Marcus? But I love Paul for being
You mean-
almost
No,
the same-
Hunter?
no, you
Oh,
hate
you hate
Hunter.
Hunter.
No, gosh, please let me correct myself.
Just like,
I hate
stop
Hunter.
hating Marcus.
I love
now.
Marcus. Never can hate him. But then I like Paul for being kind of the same grown
Yeah,
up version.
you're
of
wishy-washy. I'm normal.
Hunter. I'm a very conflicted
Paul's a-
person.
But Paul's a grown up, so it's more normal for him to be acting.
You know, that's what
That
that's true. That's true. See, Eve gets it.
Maybe. We'll see.
Anyways,
We'll see.
I know he interrupts that moment that I like.
Yeah, that's what I'm not happy about.
So Georgia tells Paul about Maddie, and then Georgia
super
goes to
sweet
Maddie's
about it.
phone. What?
I said, and he's super sweet. I mean, didn't y'all think he was
Yeah.
like?
He is.
I mean, he's really understanding about the whole thing.
Mhm.
Like, I like him.
Yeah, I think this is when the whole brother thing came in.
I see that face, Amanda.
Amanda doesn't like him. She's gonna get me riled up about it.
I like George Tucker. Okay.
Well, Paul reminds me of George.
I don't
Tucker.
like Paul.
He's basically the same character here.
He's basically the same character as Paul from Gilmore Girls.
No, you can never forget a face like that. I don't forget him. I would never.
I could.
Okay, so I'm about to mute Amanda to cut out the negativity.
Yeah, exactly. Cut her out.
Okay, fine. I love Paul. He's got a cute butt, but
He does have a cute butt. See, look at the
Same.
positive here.
there.
Okay.
All right, next. She goes through Maddie's phone and sees that Maddie's getting info for money. Finds out the PI is Jesse, quote unquote.
Dun dun dun.
Were you guys shocked by that? Well, I guess not. 'cause-
No,
I was not at all.
No, I
no.
feel like
I
it
mean,
was
we had
super
already met
obvious.
him.
No, but I mean, like, were you guys shocked that Maddie was involved with that?
No.
Or did you
At
think
first, I
legit?
was like,
Oh.
oh, she's working with the PI. But then I was like, no, that's typical. That sounds right.
I didn't think she was working with the PI, but I thought she was there to on not good.
No,
I don't want to say terms, but
when
The
she-
second she showed up, I was like, she's up to something. She's not here just to
Yeah.
see Georgia.
Well, and she like when she started asking, "Oh, how many did you own? All three of those when you first got together?" Talking about his businesses, I knew it then.
Yeah.
I was like, "No, she's trying to figure out it."
Like that's
No.
not a normal conversation to have with a sister, even if you are on speaking terms.
Mhm.
no, you don't discuss that kind of stuff. No.
No, I don't discuss my
Mm.
sister and her husband's finances. Like that's just
No.
weird. I don't care.
Yeah.
Then
You
again, I'm not
shouldn't.
looking. But then again, I'm not looking for dirt on my sister. So
All right, and then Ginny asks Maddie questions about her grandparents.
the cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
Yeah, I was gonna say we talked about that a little bit.
Mhm.
I think she just said she was hopped up on drugs a lot of the time. I think
Yeah.
that's about as far as Maddie went with that. I don't think she told her much else.
No.
She didn't say too much.
And then she talked about, then it came up that she and I want to call her Mary, that she and Georgia have different fathers, and Ginny was
Mhm.
like, oh, you guys have different fathers.
Mhm.
It's like, that's the most surprising part of this whole scenario, really.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see her talking about her real home life ever, even
Yeah,
Jenny.
it's not like George is the kind of mom who tells Ginny all about her childhood.
No,
Right.
definitely not. And I'm sure that Jenny's asked her. She can't be 15, 16 years old and not ever asked about grandparents before.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
So-
obviously she knows, her dad, she knows her dad's parents.
Yeah. But she doesn't know anything about Mary Georgia.
Right.
It rolls right off the tongue really nicely. It's a good Southern name, Mary Georgia.
You're Georgia.
So next, flashback to Georgia kicking Maddie out. Maddie took Georgia's money, and then in real life, the same thing happens basically. Except for Maddie didn't take Georgia's money. Georgia gave her 10 G's,
Yeah. Which was not okay
which
in
was
my
the
book.
mayor's money.
Exactly. That really peeved me off.
Yeah.
I usually will have George's back, but doing that was crossing a line to me. There is some bad blood between the dad.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. He wasn't a
And-
nice guy.
I don't think
Ginny-
there's really talk about there anyway.
No, I mean, it makes you understand him a little bit more
Hmm.
sharing that, but I don't know.
It makes me
see.
feel a tiny bit bad for Maddie,
Maddie.
Yeah.
knowing that she went through the same stuff after Georgia left.
Yeah.
And her dad.
Her dad,
Yeah.
yeah.
To me, it's
yeah.
worse. That's worse.
And it
Mhm.
probably
I mean, they're
makes-
both unthinkably horrible, but
Yeah. No, I mean, it's
Oh.
pretty terrible.
But it just brings a whole nother level to it when it's her own father.
Hmm.
yeah,
And the hurt on Georgia's face when she told her that.
yeah.
But so
Mhm.
Jenny wants to go home and ask Hunter to take her. First he's hesitant because he's little Mr. Perfect. He's like, but we have class. Well,
It's like, you're
It-
16 and your girlfriend wants to ditch
Yeah.
class. Like,
I mean, it won't kill you to skip, one afternoon. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say that out loud. If there are any children listening, absolutely skipping school is bad and wrong and don't do it.
we do
Um,
not endorse skipping school.
We do not. But
Only in,
only in this fictional world, okay?
But I feel like part of it too, because we saw a little bit at the family dinner about how like strict his parents are kind of about education. The part of it might have been that he was afraid he would get caught and his mom would.
Now, Shelby, you cannot make me feel sorry for Hunter and want to like him in any sort of way, so I refuse to do it.
That's okay. But I'm just saying, like,
No, I
that's
know.
another side of it.
No, that's definitely part of it. I'm sure his parents are half of the reason of why he is the way he is. So she goes home, goes through all of her mom's stuff, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I would have been super PO'd about that.
I mean, you have no business going through your mother's stuff. Are you
No.
kidding me?
No, there's no excuse. There's no.
and she didn't even have any real reason to go through her mom's stuff except for she isn't telling me anything about her childhood.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
did you ever think, kid, that maybe her childhood was really traumatic and she doesn't want to talk about it? I mean,
I don't think so.
even that surprises me that even after Maddie told her that her grandmother was on drugs all the time, I'm
Mhm.
thinking about the fact that maybe Georgia's childhood, and she told her Georgia took care of me.
If that was my aunt and I just heard that about my mother's childhood, I would probably just drop and be like, oh, she had a terrible childhood.
Yeah,
Moving on.
Exactly.
I wouldn't want
That's
to know.
a normal.
I wouldn't want to be interested in knowing any more after that conversation.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to know. I mean, because that would make me sad to know. But
But she's Ginny, so she just has to stir up trouble.
basically.
That's exactly what it is.
So she found the hiding spot. She found the gun. Georgia walked in and she could tell that someone was in the house. However, she could tell that someone was in the house.
Mhm.
And she basically tiptoes upstairs and they point the guns at each other.
Yeah, that was scary.
It was scary, and it was dangerous on Jenny's
Yeah,
part. I mean,
Terrifying.
because you
Yeah.
weren't supposed to be there, and your mother thought someone was in the house. I mean, she could have shot you, and it would have been awful.
My heart was racing when Georgia was walking up those steps. I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
she's going to shoot her daughter.
Yeah. It's
Thankfully, she
terrible,
looks before she shoots,
right?
I guess. Yeah, that whole scene really, I didn't like Ginny after that part.
Yeah.
Not that I don't think my hatred will stay, but I was very mad and disappointed at this part.
Mm-hmm.
So they get into
Yeah.
a big fight.
And then Ginny said bullshit, Mary, and Georgia slapped her in the face.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
And then Ginny was pouting in her bed, which I laughed at. I thought that was hilarious.
That girl needs to be brought back down to reality. I don't think hitting your child every time is right, but I think in
No.
some instances, it just happens.
I mean, I think it's sometimes, I mean, she was being really disrespectful. Do I think that smacking the girl was probably it probably wasn't the right way to handle it, but it was also
real.
probably, it was a real way to handle it, I think. And I think it was just her instinct that she's being so disrespected by her child that that's what she did. And I'm not mad at her for it. I
And
mean,
No.
George has been putting up with her disrespect for a long time too. Like,
yeah.
like, you know what, young lady, that's enough. Like, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
And it could have
She
been a
needed it.
knee-jerk reaction too. Like she didn't think about it. It was just like, oh,
Yeah.
you're
Oh, definitely.
I think so.
She didn't think 2 seconds about it.
She'd had that coming for several episodes now.
Yep.
She did.
Yeah, for sure.
And all this causes Georgia to burn a little box of, what was it, pictures in there?
Pictures of when she was a kid.
Yeah,
That's so sad.
that was really sad. I wish she wouldn't have done that. But
It's just you.
Did you notice
I mean,
that she used the WD-40
Yeah.
flamethrower to it?
Yeah. I did notice that.
Like, oh, well, I'll use that. I don't know. That was really funny because that seems like a very normal parent thing to do. It's like, oh, let me just borrow this thing I just confiscated from my kids.
Right.
also, we used
Like-
to use hairspray in the lighter.
Yeah, it works just as easy.
All right. And then the closing kind of scene is when Zion calls Ginny, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The last.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And now we're to episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go a little bit faster through this one, guys. But let's try to hit as much as we can.
This one we need a warning too, because there's sex and all that in it.
Listener discretion is advised.
That works.
Do they have that warning before every episode? The viewer discretion is advised.
No.
It's up on the top. It's like M for mature language, self-harm, stuff like that.
All right. So it starts off with Georgia making Ginny a birthday cake.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And they're still at odds. Ginny's
Yep.
not impressed at all.
I
Georgia's
was.
trying to make nice.
Oh,
I was impressed.
Yeah.
I do
I was
not.
too.
And
Like,
then
you're
here
a
comes
con
Zion.
I really like cake though, so I was like, ooh,
And then
first thing in the morning, yes, please.
I know,
and
right?
then it cracked me up. Like she spent so much time on that cake and then she just slapped it in Ginny's face.
Worth it.
Like happy
Yeah.
I
birthday,
mean,
jerk.
can you blame her? I would've
No.
done-
No, but I thought it was funny. It was a waste of your skills.
And then wasn't she like in that same scene? Wasn't she like so thrilled to get a card from her grandparents or something?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, she's
Yeah.
just being an obnoxious brat as far as everything with her mom goes here.
Yeah. She's just mad at Georgia because she got what she deserved.
Yeah. And she's
I
a
am a-
teenager, so I guess it is, but I mean,
Yeah. I think they try to be real in the show, and that's real.
it's pretty real.
You're not just
And
gonna
then-
go to sleep and get over that in a night.
And then Georgia tried to make up for it with that surprise party too. That was really
Mhm.
sweet.
It was.
That
That was
part
a
made me
very-
sad.
That was a very mommy thing to do. I feel like that was the most normal mom thing Georgia has done on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that surprise party was top notch.
That
That
was
was
nice.
He
not
put a
about that.
lot of thought into that party.
Mhm.
And then they just
And money.
stole then they just stole all her alcohol. I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
I would have been the one being like, no, I'm having fun. I'm gonna stay here. And I think Abby was like that too. She was like, I don't know. I think this is kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah.
she was starved because she doesn't have that sort of
Her
good
parents would
home
never do
life.
that for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, listen to Abby. This is fun.
Yeah, I'd been taking the alcohol and going too, so I couldn't.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But then Marcus and Max are planning the party. Abby's jealous of Max and Ginny's friendship after Max decorated that little like corner thing where they always hung out at, and like they were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about the party and stuff. Which I didn't know if she was really jealous or if it was just everything going on too, and then that just kind of like took the cake.
I think she's mad about everything going on, and I think she's just annoyed at everything and anything right now.
Yeah.
I would be too. I don't blame her.
And that's legitimate.
Yeah. You know, when you're in a bad mood and somebody's trying to be like happy next to you, and the last thing you want to do is act
Yeah.
happy.
You just want to slap them in their stupid little face.
Yes.
Like,
I think
let
that's
me
what
be
she's dealing
miserable.
with right now.
Like, I just want to be miserable, and here you are being so happy.
Yes. I don't want that right now.
I want everyone to be miserable with me.
And then another cringy moment with Hunter dancing.
I think that's
Oh,
worse than the song. If I'm
I
just
thought that was romantic.
You did?
No, as soon as I saw that,
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
It's official. Like,
I
we're
didn't
too old for
watch.
this. Shelby thinks it's cute. The rest of us
He's
are
like,
like,
he's tap dancing down the hallway for her.
Exactly.
Yeah, say that again. He's
Yeah.
tap dancing down the hallway for her.
To happy birthday. It's adorable.
We're not in an episode of Glee.
I would have been embarrassed and I would have ducked into the other. Okay, in this scene, I'm pretty sure Marcus has a look on his face. That's
He
would
my
not.
does. He's like
That's
this. He's
me.
like,
I would have
But,
walked away
okay.
and been like, nope, sorry, not doing this.
I would have turned and walked the other way. There's no way. I mean, I would have been so embarrassed.
to be fair, I would have been embarrassed too, but I think it's cute. Like,
No.
if it was happening to someone else in my high school, I would have been like, oh, that's cute, but I would not have wanted it to happen to me.
If it was happening to someone else in my high school, I would have been like this.
I'm sorry, Shelby. I don't think you're selling any of us
Yeah,
this
just-
at all.
The way you said that out loud. He tap danced down the hallway to Happy Birthday. In the
Yes.
middle of high school. No.
It's adorable and romantic.
If you want to do a tap dance, just me, I'm still gonna make this face probably.
I would-
That's better than like
If I saw that
laugh.
happen,
I would
saw that
laugh.
yeah, if
I
I
would
saw that
laugh.
happening to someone else in my high school, I would have broken into nervous laughter.
Yes.
And if it was happening to me, I would have turned and ran the other way.
I would have probably cried if it was happening to me because I would have been so embarrassed. And if it was happening to someone else, I would have like made fun of them forever about it.
You're a jerk. Like,
I would have. I'm sorry. It's weird. It's
Well,
so
call us
weird.
jerks then.
no,
I
I think
mean,
it's cute.
It's cute for some people. It's just not for everybody.
Apparently,
Let us know
some
your
people-
opinion. Is it cute or cringy?
Cringy.
Yeah, let us know.
Please.
So,
That can be,
Cynthia,
And if you think it's cute, then why do you think it's cute?
yeah, I
there
want to
can
know.
be a new segment on our
If you don't
Facebook
agree with
pages.
Right. Cute or cringy?
us, please explain yourself.
Right next.
So, Cynthia and Paul.
Cynthia and Paul. I called it a press conference, but I wasn't sure if that was the word for it.
Probably like, what did like a town hall debate or type thing, or what was it?
I was thinking
They
it
were
was a
like
debate
asking them questions and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. I think it's a debate.
or I don't know. It was something, but
But Georgia paid the one lady to ask a certain question so that Paul looked like the good guy, which I didn't catch that the first time watching. I caught that today.
I caught that the second time I watched it through.
Max and Ginny say they want to have sex with their boyfriend and girlfriend. They pretty much make a sex pact, which was a little weird.
Also cringy. Cute or cringy? Little cringy. Little cringy.
All right. So that happened. Paul and Austin played soccer, which I thought was adorable. Amanda, I know
It
you're not
was.
the greatest fan of Paul, but his relationship with Austin's pretty
No,
good.
I love his relationship with the kids, mainly Austin. I love his relationship with Austin.
Yeah, that's a cute relationship.
It is. And I feel like Austin needs that
Mhm.
type of person in his life, especially right now.
Yeah.
He needs a good guy in his life. And Paul
does.
is the epitome of good guy that we know of so far.
And you know, go ahead, Jeanette.
No, I was just gonna say, I think if Joe was not in the picture, if he wasn't part of the show, we would all be on board with Paul just a little bit more. I think it's
I think
Joe
so.
is like,
I think so. I think I would be definitely on
I
board.
agree with that.
I mean, because I love George Tucker.
Yeah.
So
What I was going to say was Paul is the only one that tried to talk Austin into apologizing for what he did.
yeah,
Mhm.
he did. But
And I don't know why, but like that kind of meant a lot like in my head, because like that shows that like he's trying to be a good example.
He is. While we talk about, I mean, just it's like I think he's a really good influence, for Austin. But I think Joe plays that same role for Jenny because he's constantly giving her advice and stuff. So they're
Yeah.
both really, really good guys. It's hard to choose.
not for me.
For sure.
No. Joe
And then
all
there's
the way.
Zion, who I'm like, no.
Oh no.
You lost me
like-
when you were going to let your parents take the kid. So
Yeah.
I like Zion, but they don't work together as a couple.
no.
I don't have anything against Zion. Well, I mean, I do have a few things against him,
Mhm.
but I still like him. I just don't like him with
Yeah.
Georgia.
I agree.
I like him as Jenny's dad, I
Yeah.
guess. He's
I
not the
like
best
him
one,
as a
but-
co-parent as far as, parenting Ginny,
Yeah.
because Lord knows she needs lots of parenting right now.
Yeah. True.
yeah.
Max talks to Georgia and was ignoring Ellen and Joe's little store. I thought that was so funny because it's like Georgia's like the cool mom that Max wants to go to for stuff, and like she's asking Georgia's opinion, like how you're in love and everything, and Ellen's like, well, I've only been married to your father for 17 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I thought
I've been
that
in
was
love
so
before.
funny.
You call him dad.
Right. I think it's funny, but I think that's pretty typical too. I mean, nobody wants to think that their mom is cool.
Yeah. Georgia's taking money again, $10,000. And then she makes a shady phone call, which at this point we don't know who it's to, but basically she's asking someone to do the same thing that they did in New Orleans, which to me, the first time watching it, well, I mean, obviously now we know what it is, but the first time watching it, it sounded like she was putting a hit out on somebody.
Yeah. I thought
Yeah.
that too.
That's what I thought it was. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, boy, what
agree.
happened in New Orleans?
I was like, uh-oh. But also I
Yeah,
wasn't
it
that
sounded
surprised.
very-
either.
It sounded very mobster.
Mhm.
Yeah, it did.
It was.
And then we go to
Um,
the birthday dinner.
That went to shit.
Yeah. But don't worry,
Sorry,
Paul's here with dessert.
So then Georgia vents to Paul about Ginny and her being the way she is. Marcus comes in Ginny's bedroom window.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. I'm not sure how, as a mother, you don't hear somebody shimmying up the drain pipe and getting into your daughter's room and then them talking.
Big house though. I mean, like,
Yeah.
if she's downstairs or in her room with her door shut, you may not hear them.
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
That's kind of scary.
I don't know.
Being a parent is scary. I mean,
Ginny's proven to be pretty sneaky now these days too. So I mean,
Yeah, and then she goes and tells him about her plans with Hunter, the sex pact. And Marcus is, of course, heartbroken.
Yeah.
Then we find out what Georgia was doing all night long because Ginny finds him naked in her bathroom.
neither one. I thought it was funny.
Funny or cringy.
So
And then
maybe that's why Georgia couldn't hear him in her bedroom.
yeah,
she was
making enough
preoccupied.
noise. She's making enough noise on her own.
Yeah, she was a little busy.
So,
Maureen's gonna have to cut a whole bunch out. It's a good thing she's not listening right now.
I think that part's okay. You know what they're doing. We're all adults here.
Oh man. All right. So Ginny bringing up the men of Georgia's past at the breakfast table. What do you guys think of that? Because I kind of wanted to knock her into next week.
Yeah.
She
Same.
maybe she needs another go around.
Amanda made crazy eyes there for a minute.
Yeah, I think she needs a round 2 of that slap in the face.
You know, that's not only disrespectful to Georgia, but that's disrespectful to Paul too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's bringing Austin into it, which Austin's like 8 or 9 we discussed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That didn't sit right with me at all.
Yeah.
She's a
I
very
agree with you.
obnoxious teenager.
Ginny's friend showed up for the surprise,
Mhm.
and Ginny went upstairs basically so that they could all set up, and they had an amazing party. Georgia had the pedicure stations and the clothes making stations, and which I thought was weird that she bought underwear for them to make, but that's beside the point.
Well,
And
It's
It was
Georgia.
a
Yeah.
fun part. It was a
Yeah.
fun party. I wish I was invited.
I know. This was an amazing birthday party.
Okay, question. So this is skipping ahead a little bit, but the underwear that Max had on that had the googly eyes on it, that they were making fun of her, and they were like, "You're really gonna wear those?" It's like, "Hello, Sophie." Were they ones that she made at Ginny's party with googly eyes, or are they ones that like she bought for this?
I don't know.
I
I
don't
would-
know.
Because usually
I
for a
wouldn't-
girl's first time, you buy special, under stuff.
I wouldn't put it past her to buy googly-eyed underwear for her first
That's what I was
time.
kind of thinking, but then when they had the underwear making station, so maybe she made them.
Maybe she made them.
She might have made them. I don't know. I never thought about that.
I mean, that makes sense to me that she would have
because
made
that's
them.
very Max's personality too. I don't know. But anyway,
That's funny.
So
so the party was amazing. Ginny was unimpressed and very ungrateful, which made me want to punch her in the mouth.
Yep.
Ginny manipulated Georgia into giving a champagne toast because Georgia just wants to be the cool mom, and Ginny used that to her advantage.
Yeah.
I
What do
thought
you
that
guys
was
think of that?
I thought that was pretty crummy because, Georgia's trying really hard to get back on Ginny's good side, which is she doesn't need to do because, Ginny's the one acting like a brat in the first place. And now
Yeah.
Ginny's just taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny, like how the whole thing went down, because she was like, Mom, you'd be really cool if you did this. And it's
Yeah.
just kind of like appealing to all of Georgia's feelings about what she wants to be. Georgia said to Ginny that she could have the champagne. Ginny said that she would help her carry out the champagne flutes, which I'm pretty sure Georgia took as that Ginny kind of forgived her a little bit because she was helping her, and was like, well, make sure you lock up the cabinet. And then, of course, Ginny used that opportunity to not lock up the cabinet. And the girls were very, very quick.
they were.
Mhm.
Like
Getting
they
that
had
alcohol.
planned down to the second.
Mhm.
They knew what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was like a professional rob the liquor cabinet job.
Yeah.
Like
they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't their first rodeo.
Yeah.
So then Jesse, I'm using air quotes, and Nick show up. Nick's dressed in drag as Avril Lavigne.
oh god,
I love
that.
it.
I
Avril
love it.
Lavigne.
Yeah.
I feel the gene. That part cracked me up. Oh my
He's so
gosh.
funny.
Yes, I love him. She knows his real identity.
Mhm.
Like
Make
she's
sure he knows that now.
yes. And I loved that.
Yeah.
I was like, there's my Georgia.
Yeah, she's like
One step
"Oh,
ahead."
hey, Gabriel, and then he's like, it's Jesse, and she's like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's like, oh.
Like, yeah,
I
I
bet.
know.
Name slip there.
Just so you know, I know who you are. That's all she was doing.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then
And I
Jo-
want
So
to know that
then
I know.
Georgia sets up a movie for Mang, and they sneak out.
so yeah, they go out, they sneak out to Marine. Whoops.
Not worry. Maxine.
They sneak out to Marine's house now.
I'm watching her talk over here, so I'm saying her name. It's the same, it's an M name.
It works.
So they sneak out to party at Maxine and Marcus's house.
I can't call her Maxine. I'm going back to calling her Max. And Ginny had her straightened hair. And Brody said, I like your hair better this way. Too bad you don't have an ass. Kind of weird, isn't it? Which is kind of racist.
Oh, it's really racist.
Oh yeah, super racist.
Yeah, it is.
What did you guys think of that? Because it kind of made me mad. Dating a black guy, like,
Brody always pisses me off.
he's kind of
I'm
an
gonna be
ass.
clear. He really is. I really don't like Brody.
Mhm.
I usually like Brody better than I do Press. Press is the one that I really can't stand.
I think Press is even worse than Brody, but they're both. I don't know
They're
why they're in this.
they're your
group.
typical like
Definitely not cute. Always cringy.
yeah.
And that's just because I think they would be cute if their attitudes were
weren't-
different.
If they weren't creepy.
Agreed. Yeah.
Brody's the one that Abby likes, correct?
Well, no, I don't know. I don't know if Abby really likes Press is the one she was trying to impress. The one with the dark hair, with the like black hair is Press.
Okay. I kind of mixed them up a little bit. I know
Yeah,
that they're
Brody's-
both jerks, but
Brody's the other one.
Yeah, I always mix them up.
I know it was Brody that said this because Hunter said something to him about it. Hunter defends her after Ginny storms off.
Thankfully,
Yes.
that's
And
one
then-
good thing he did do.
Right.
I did like him in this scene.
Hunter follows her and they're laying in bed and they decide that they're gonna do it. And well, they're making out and stuff, and Ginny was basically being a weirdo and was like, I'm on birth control. And then he stopped and she was like, well, why'd you stop? And then he was like, well, tonight's your birthday, it's all about you. And he basically like kisses her. I'm not going into all this detail because they're high school kids and it's weird. But anyway, he kisses her and then he sees the scars and he asks about it and he says that it's a birthmark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge Jeanette.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, and what did she tell him again that they were? The marks?
Birthmarks.
Birthmarks.
I think he's kind of an idiot to think that.
But I mean, she was just doing it,
Yeah, they're not.
so it wouldn't have even been healed.
Okay, so maybe he is just an idiot
I
then.
think I think he just doesn't want.
Or he
I
just
don't know,
doesn't want
I'm
to have a
just
real
saying-
conversation with her.
I think that's I mean that's probably a little bit more accurate. Like,
I mean, he's a horny boy. He was trying to.
well, I know.
They flash over to Max's room. Sophie can tell that Max isn't ready because she's being spazzy and weird.
She's being so weird.
It's the Max way, but she was even more Max than she usually is.
Yeah.
Make out. Oh, music. Make out. Oh, the door's not locked. Oh yeah, my door doesn't lock. Make out some
She
more.
was-
Oh,
she was
candles.
so
I got candles
nervous.
just for this.
She's like, oh, I forgot my door doesn't lock.
She's so nervous. It's
I
so,
She's funny.
Okay, so
back over to Georgia's. She's making
Right.
Sundays with Nick.
she figures out about them sneaking out. She looks at the DMs, calls the cops.
I love
Marcus
that.
hears Ginny bragging about Hunter, and Marcus's face was hilarious.
Not pleased.
No.
No, not pleased.
Not pleased. Let's just say that.
Ginny's drunk, and the cops show up. Paul wants to get Ginny, and Georgia says no. And then flashback to Georgia with the lawyer, because she got caught for an underground gambling ring and money laundering.
But then too, like right after Ginny, they see that the cops show up, Paul's like, let's go meet them at the police station. And George is like, I think I'm gonna go to bed.
I
think
probably did the
Georgia-
same thing.
Yeah,
There's no doubt in my mind. I really think Georgia would have let her spend the night in jail.
I do
Oh,
too. Absolutely.
100%. I think that was her plan.
She's trying to teach her a lesson,
Yeah.
and sometimes
She didn't call the cops just so that she could run down to the police station and bail her out after 2 seconds in jail.
No.
Right.
And plus, I mean, if we're being realistic here, you got to sit there for a while before you can even get them out.
Yeah.
So there's really no point in running down there in real life.
Yeah.
But eventually, who goes and bails her out?
Paul, and they have a
Paul.
heart-to-heart. All right, next. George is upset that Paul went to go get Ginny, which in a way I can see her point of it because I think Paul kind of overstepped a little bit. I mean, if she wanted her kid to stay in jail for a night, I mean, even though that's a little bit harsh, I think that she has every right to decide that. Do you
I
guys
don't
agree,
think-
or do you think he was
Absolutely.
trying to be
I
nice?
agree, and I don't think it was too harsh.
No,
Her
she was going
daughter-
down a slippery
she-
slope. Real.
She snuck
fast.
out. She was drinking. I feel like that was an appropriate consequence, making her spend the night in jail.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, she's in
Was
a
she the only one
small
that got
little
caught,
bitty
or was
town.
everybody-
It's not like she's going to the penitentiary. I mean,
Yeah.
she's safer in jail than she is at that party.
Was she the only one that got caught? Because I know that other people were like running and stuff, but I didn't know. Was she the only one that got sent down there?
I don't think so.
No, because isn't there like a? No, I think the others did too.
I think
Okay,
they
we
just
don't see them.
I think the
I-
other parents just got there a lot faster.
Oh yeah, because Ginny said something about like it's about time or something like that.
Yeah.
so she was probably just the last one picked up. Which I mean, I can't imagine she was terribly surprised.
She comes clean about her past to Jenny. Finally. Jenny apologizes to Georgia.
And then ask questions
Finally.
about the abuse and stuff.
Yep. Jenny tells Georgia about Hunter doing things to her, and Georgia tells Jenny that they're broke. I like that. I like this episode because of all the honesty.
Yeah.
Like, by the way, we're broke. Welcome to adulthood.
Yeah.
Or something like
Yeah.
that.
Welcome to adulthood. It sucks. Austin goes back to school
Mhm.
and he goes up to Zach to apologize.
And he throws
And-
up
Pukes all over him.
again.
I
kid
feel so
deserved it.
bad.
Yeah.
And he runs away.
Poor guy.
Accurate
Here.
response to, throwing up all over someone when you're trying to apologize. Like, oops, today's ruined. I'm out of here.
And I felt so bad for him because he was walking up and he was all confident and he was like practicing what he was gonna say and everything. And he was like fine and he was getting ready to do it. And then he's just like, Zach, like just all over the place.
I mean, from
And I'm
the
like, oh my
outside,
gosh.
it looked like he did it on purpose. I mean,
It
we
kinda
we
did.
know that it wasn't on purpose because like we'd seen him like practicing,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like Zach, I'm sorry, like all the way up there. But then if we hadn't seen that before, it definitely looked like he purposely threw up all over Zach's shoes.
Absolutely.
Okay, am I the only one who thought that it was disgusting that they got like such a close-up shot of the vomit? I almost threw up the first time watching it.
I mean, well, it's not real puke, so
I don't do well with puke or stuff that looks like puke.
I'll throw my hands out there. I don't care.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
But I guess that comes with motherhood too.
Being a parent. I think we just, what's the last thing?
That's it. That's literally it. The last scene is just a motorcycle driving into town, and at that point we don't know who it is yet.
Well, Ginny also, like in her little voiceover, she's saying, I miss my dad. I wish he
Yeah.
was here.
Mhm.
We see a motorcycle driving into town, and
We kind of knew who it was.
I was like, oh, I bet that's her dad.
Yeah.
I didn't know who it was. I do now, obviously, but the first time around I didn't catch that.
I guess
Yeah.
that it was her dad because her voiceover was saying that she.
Yeah.
I was like, he seems like the kind of dad that rides a motorcycle.
I mean, we've already know about his history,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
already
And
in
we
the-
know, yeah, and I mean, Georgia had the motorcycle jacket in her little cubby hole thing too. So,
Yeah.
and I think we even seen them on a motorcycle before when they were together, but like
Mhm.
before they
Yeah,
had
we
Ginny,
have.
right?
yeah,
So-
we knew he had a motorcycle. I mean, we didn't
Mm.
know if he still had a motorcycle. I just assumed.
Well, I think we have that's probably everything. I mean, if there's anything we've missed, feel free to let us know. We definitely want to know your thoughts on Hunter. Please, if there's anyone out there that likes him, we are
And
trying to find reasons
Cuter,
why.
cringy.
Yes. Tell us, are his moments cute? Are they cringy? We need to know. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. You can contact us at familyfanclubs2021@gmail.com. Make sure you come join our Facebook group. We do lots of fun things there, including we'll be doing our new cute or cringy game as soon as Amanda gets those made up.
Yeah, me.
You can find that Ginny and Georgia Miller Family Fan Club. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Those are at FB Family Fan Clubs. And then come back and join us next week. We're going to be talking more recaps of Sweet Magnolias and Ginny and Georgia. So, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.